Laredo, Texas, a city situated right on the U.S. and Mexico border, has long been a hotspot for smuggling activities, including human trafficking and drug smuggling. Strategically located along Interstate 35, a major highway connecting the border to large inland U.S. cities, Laredo frequently witnesses high-speed chases related to illegal activities. On May 9, 2025, a dramatic pursuit unfolded in the city, capturing the attention of both the local community and law enforcement agencies. The primary suspect, Humberto Misael Garcia, a 31-year-old Laredo resident, became the focal point of the incident as he led police on a dangerous chase, culminating in 2 collisions and the arrest of himself and 4 undocumented immigrants. This case is not merely an isolated event but reflects broader challenges faced by law enforcement agencies in the border region. Human trafficking. A complex criminal enterprise is often accompanied by dangerous behaviors such as reckless driving, evading police, and endangering both immigrants and the local community. To understand how this chase unfolded so dramatically, let's follow the Texas Department of Public Safety DPS as they pursued and apprehended the perpetrator. At approximately 8:42 a.m. on May 9, 2025, officers from the Texas Department of Public Safety DPS received information about a white Dodge Challenger linked to human trafficking near the Mines Road area of Laredo. Mines Road, a suburban area of the city, is frequently used as a transit point for smuggling due to its proximity to the border and access to major highways. The vehicle was identified as being driven by Humberto Misael Garcia, a 31-year-old Laredo resident. While Garcia was not a stranger to law enforcement, no specific details about his prior criminal record were disclosed in reports related to this incident. According to sources, DPS identified the Dodge Challenger based on intelligence, possibly from sources such as surveillance cameras, tips from U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) or community reports. When a DPS officer spotted the vehicle on Interstate 35 heading south, he attempted to conduct a traffic stop to investigate. However, Garcia refused to pull over, initiating a high-speed chase that would soon become one of the most dangerous incidents in Laredo in 2025. The pursuit began on Interstate 35, one of Texas's major arteries. Connecting the border to cities like San Antonio and Austin, Garcia, driving the Dodge Challenger, accelerated to speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour, approximately 160 kilometers per h, far surpassing the legal speed limit. According to reports, he drove recklessly, frequently changing lanes and weaving through traffic, endangering both other motorists and the passengers in his vehicle. DPS officers, with support from other units, employed standard pursuit tactics, using patrol vehicles equipped with lights and sirens to signal Garcia to stop. However, instead of complying, Garcia continued to accelerate, leading police into more densely populated areas of Laredo. This behavior not only violated traffic laws but also heightened the risk of serious accidents, particularly as he began navigating through residential neighborhoods. As the chase progressed to the intersection of Monterey Avenue and West Lyon Street, Garcia lost control of the Dodge Challenger and crashed into a concrete wall. The impact was forceful enough to cause the car's hood to pop open, obstructing Garcia's view. However, instead of stopping to assess the damage or surrender, Garcia continued driving with the hood up, an act that demonstrated his reckless determination to escape. This first collision drew significant attention from the local community. Witnesses at the intersection reported hearing a loud crash and seeing the heavily damaged vehicle still moving. Police, now reinforced with additional patrol units, continued pursuing Garcia through Laredo's busy streets. Driving with the hood open was not only dangerous but also impaired Garcia's ability to control the vehicle, raising questions about why he took such extreme risks. Despite the damage from the first crash, Garcia persisted in his flight, leading police to the intersection of East Calton Road and Marcella Avenue. There, his Dodge Challenger collided with another vehicle, resulting in a second crash. Specific details about the other vehicle were not disclosed, but this collision rendered the Challenger inoperable. Realizing he could no longer drive, Garcia abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot, hoping to evade capture. DPS officers, with assistance from other units, quickly established a perimeter in the area. Witnesses described a chaotic scene, with police sirens blaring and multiple officers present on the streets. Despite his attempt to escape on foot, Garcia was unable to outrun a DPS officer, who caught up and apprehended him shortly after. Upon inspecting the Dodge Challenger, police discovered 4 individuals inside, all identified as undocumented immigrants. These individuals, lacking legal documentation to remain in the U.S., were believed to be transported by Garcia as part of a human trafficking operation. Reports did not provide details about their identities, nationalities, or health conditions, but they were handed over to U.S. Border Patrol for immigration processing. The presence of undocumented immigrants in the vehicle was a key factor leading to human trafficking charges against Garcia. Human trafficking, a serious federal crime under USO law, often involves transporting undocumented individuals across or within borders for financial gain. In this case, Garcia's reckless actions endangered not only himself but also the passengers, who may have endured hazardous conditions during the chase. After his arrest, Garcia was turned over to Border Patrol for further investigation, indicating the case may involve federal immigration issues. He is likely to face trials at both the state level for charges such as reckless driving and evading arrest and the federal level for human trafficking. Depending on the investigation's outcome, Garcia could face lengthy detention, and if convicted, he may lose his freedom for many years. Regarding Garcia's statements after his arrest, reports only mention that he was handed over to Border Patrol for further investigation, and DPS stated they would file arrest warrants with specific charges later. In similar cases, suspects are typically interrogated to determine their motives, connections to smuggling organizations, and any information about larger criminal networks. In the absence of direct information, it can be inferred that Garcia may have refused to provide details or made vague statements about not knowing the immigration status of the individuals in the vehicle. However, any assumptions about his statements are purely speculative and cannot be used as official evidence. The Texas Department of Public Safety DPS announced plans to file arrest warrants against Garcia with the following charges: evading arrest with a vehicle Garcia refused to stop when ordered by police, leading to a high-speed chase, evading arrest on foot after the second collision. Garcia attempted to flee on foot to avoid capture. Reckless driving. Driving at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour through residential areas and continuing to drive a damaged vehicle was deemed reckless and dangerous. Leaving the scene of an accident, Garcia failed to stop and assist or check on those involved in the second collision. Human trafficking. Transporting 4 undocumented immigrants forms the basis for this charge, a serious federal offense. These charges, particularly human trafficking, could result in a lengthy prison sentence if Garcia is convicted. Under federal law, human trafficking can carry a penalty of up to 7 years in prison per person transported, with aggravating factors such as endangering lives potentially leading to harsher punishments. The 4 undocumented immigrants in the vehicle were handed over to U.S. Border Patrol for immigration processing. This may involve detention in immigration facilities, interviews to determine their identities and circumstances, and ultimately deportation to their countries of origin. In some cases, immigrants may be allowed to apply for asylum if they can prove a risk of persecution in their home countries, but no specific details about the status of these individuals were provided in this case. The chase caused significant disruption in Laredo, particularly in areas like Monterey Avenue and East Calton Road. The collisions disrupted traffic and may have caused property damage, though no reports indicated serious injuries. However, incidents like this heighten concerns about public safety in a city already accustomed to smuggling activities. The local community may feel anxious about the safety of residential areas, especially when high-speed chases occur near schools and densely populated neighborhoods. This case once again highlights the challenges faced by DPS and other agencies, such as Border Patrol, in addressing smuggling activities. The high-speed chase, with its potential to injure officers and civilians alike, underscores the need for coordination between agencies and investment in technologies like surveillance cameras and drones to aid in apprehensions. the issue of human trafficking at the U.S. Mexico border Laredo, with a population of approximately 260,000, is a major hub for smuggling due to its geographic location. Criminal organizations, ranging from small groups to large cartels, often use individuals like Garcia to transport undocumented immigrants across the border or from transit points to inland cities. These immigrants, who often pay thousands of dollars to smugglers, face risks of exploitation, abandonment, or even death during transportation. According to reports from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, thousands of undocumented immigrants are apprehended annually in the Laredo area, and high-speed chases are not uncommon. Smugglers often choose fast vehicles like the Dodge Challenger to increase their chances of escape. But this also heightens the risk of deadly accidents. The Texas Department of Public Safety DPS and U.S. Border Patrol play critical roles in combating smuggling activities. In this case, the swift coordination between patrol units and effective pursuit tactics led to Garcia's apprehension without any casualties. However, high-speed chases raise questions about the safety of both officers and civilians, and these agencies frequently must balance apprehending suspects with minimizing risks to the community. This incident has also sparked discussions about U.S. immigration policy. Some argue for stronger border control and harsher penalties for smugglers, while others emphasize the need for immigration reform to reduce the demand for dangerous smuggling services. Garcia's case, though a single event, contributes to the broader debate about how the U.S. manages its borders and handles undocumented immigrants. The case of Humberto Misael Garcia, with its tense moments on the streets of Laredo, leaves a larger question for the city and the nation. How can the cycle of human trafficking be broken without harming those desperately seeking a better life? The answer does not lie in high-speed chases or harsh sentences, but in building a fairer and more humane immigration system. Garcia's case serves as a wake-up call. Reflecting a harsh reality, smugglers are often caught in a cycle of profit and pressure. Regardless of the consequences, it urges us to look deeper into the root causes and seek sustainable solutions, so that the border no longer becomes a battleground of recklessness and loss. Life is a cycle, constantly revolving around the issues that unfold daily. Some days are peaceful, but others witness events that seem trivial yet lead to profoundly serious consequences. For the police, prioritizing public safety is paramount, requiring them to carry out duties to protect and patrol the community. However, on the evening of April 3, 2025, the city of Concord, California, became the focal point of a dramatic incident that captured the attention of the local community and the entire United States. A dangerous chase between law enforcement and an armed suspect shook the tranquil area near the intersection of Ellis Street and Clayton Road. The suspect, identified as Darrall Foreman, 37 from Richmond, forced authorities to confront a perilous situation when he drew a handgun and resisted during a tense foot pursuit. The incident not only involved gunfire from the police, but also saw the coordinated efforts of multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office, Pittsburgh Police Department, and Pleasant Hill Police Department. This case is not merely a story of a chase, but also a testament to the complexity of confrontations between police and suspects in the United States. With serious charges such as attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and illegal possession of a firearm, Darrall Foreman became the center of attention for the media, the public, and judicial authorities. At approximately 10 p.m. on April 3, 2025, an officer from the Concord Police Department CPD conducted a routine traffic stop on Ellis Street near the Clayton Road intersection. The target was a Chrysler sedan driven by a man, according to the CPD's official report. The driver, later identified as Darrall Foreman, exhibited unusual behavior from the outset. Instead of complying with the order to stop, Foreman exited the vehicle before it came to a complete halt, causing the Chrysler to collide with another vehicle on the road. This action marked the beginning of a chain of dangerous events. The officer immediately radioed the situation, describing the suspect as a man fleeing on foot through a nearby apartment complex. Initial information was relayed to supporting units, including a description of Foreman, a 37-year-old man from Richmond, California. Data from law enforcement quickly confirmed that Foreman had a criminal record, heightening the alertness of the police. Coordination between units was promptly initiated to prevent the suspect's escape. Eric Darrall Foreman, born in 1988, is a resident of Richmond, a city located north of Contra Costa County, not far from Concord, according to court records. Foreman was no stranger to the legal system. He had prior convictions related to criminal offenses, including violations involving weapons. This placed Foreman on the list of individuals prohibited from possessing firearms or ammunition under California law. However, at the time of the incident, Foreman was found in possession of a loaded handgun, raising concerns about his intentions during the confrontation with the police. Information about Foreman was quickly gathered by law enforcement agencies through criminal databases. The data revealed that he had an unstable history, with prior legal violations. Though there was no specific information indicating Foreman's involvement in serious violent incidents in the past, identifying Foreman was a critical step, enabling the police to assess the potential danger posed by the suspect and prepare for the worst-case scenarios during the pursuit. To understand why a routine traffic stop escalated into a dangerous chase, the context of the incident must be examined. According to the CPD report, the officer conducting the traffic stop on Ellis Street observed signs of a traffic violation by the Chrysler sedan. When the officer signaled for the vehicle to stop, Foreman reacted unexpectedly. He exited the car and fled, leaving the vehicle to continue moving and collide with another car. This behavior was not only unusual, but also suggested that Foreman might be attempting to evade the police for a more serious reason. The police suspected that Foreman could be carrying an illegal weapon or contraband. The collision of the Chrysler with another vehicle caused a minor accident, adding to the chaos at the scene and forcing the officer to make a swift decision to pursue the suspect. After abandoning the Chrysler, Foreman fled on foot through an apartment complex near the intersection of Ellis Street and Clayton Road. The pursuing officer immediately followed, simultaneously radioing for backup. The apartment complex, with its low-rise buildings and narrow alleys, created a complex environment for the chase. Foreman exploited the terrain to try to lose the officer, running through corridors, crossing courtyards, and jumping over low fences. The pursuing officer, later identified as Michael Kinnison, maintained a safe distance but repeatedly ordered Foreman to stop. According to the report, Foreman ignored these commands, continuing to run at high speed. The chase extended through the apartment complex and led Foreman to cross Clayton Road, a busy street during the day but deserted late at night. Crossing Clayton Road indicated Foreman's attempt to escape the densely populated area to find a hiding spot. The pursuit reached its climax when Foreman ran into the parking lot of a PetSmart store at 1700 Willow Pass Road. There, Foreman abruptly stopped in the middle of the parking lot, a move that caught Officer Kinnison off guard. According to the CPD report, Foreman turned around, drew a handgun from his pants, and pointed it at the pursuing officer. This action was deemed a direct threat to the officer's life, compelling Kinnison to open fire. The shots fired by Officer Kinnison were intended to neutralize Foreman, but remarkably, none hit the suspect. Uninjured, Foreman continued to flee from the PetSmart parking lot, heading toward Clayton Road. This event marked the first instance of gunfire in the incident, escalating the danger of the pursuit. Officer Kinnison immediately radioed that the suspect was armed and had resisted, requesting immediate deployment of additional units. Foreman continued running along the sidewalk of Clayton Road, heading toward the area of 1741 Clayton Road. There, a second officer, identified as Michael Schneider, approached to intercept the suspect. According to the report, when Officer Schneider ordered Foreman to stop, Foreman once again pointed his gun at the officer. This action triggered the second instance of gunfire, as Officer Schneider fired at Foreman in self-defense. As with the first instance, the shots fired by Officer Schneider missed Foreman. This could be attributed to the distance between the parties, poor lighting conditions at night, or Foreman's rapid movement. Despite being uninjured, Foreman did not abandon his attempt to escape. He fled from the Clayton Road area and sought to hide near Sutter Street, a smaller road with more trees and darkness. After some time hiding in the Sutter Street and Clayton Road area, Foreman attempted to move to the parking lot of a nearby grocery outlet store. There, a K-9 unit from the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office located him. A police dog was released and quickly identified Foreman hiding in a secluded corner of the parking lot. Once discovered, Foreman was unable to resist. The K-9 attacked, biting part of Foreman's body, preventing him from continuing his escape. Officers swiftly subdued Foreman, handcuffed him, and conducted a search during the arrest. Police found Foreman in possession of a loaded handgun, confirmed to be the weapon he used to threaten officers during the chase. Foreman sustained minor injuries from the K-9 bite, but no serious harm. He was taken to a nearby medical facility for evaluation before being transferred to the Martinez detention facility. The pursuit, lasting over an hour, concluded around 11:30 p.m. that same day, marking a successful operation by law enforcement in apprehending a dangerous suspect without any casualties among officers or civilians. After his arrest, Foreman was taken to the Martinez detention facility for questioning. According to reports, Foreman initially remained silent and provided little information about why he fled or resisted the police. However, under pressure from physical evidence, including the handgun found on him, Foreman admitted to some key details. In his statement, Foreman claimed he fled because he feared arrest for possessing an illegal firearm. As someone with a criminal record, he was fully aware that being caught with a weapon would lead to serious charges. However, he denied any intent to shoot at the officers, insisting he only drew the gun to intimidate them and create an opportunity to escape. This statement conflicted with evidence from the scene, as the investigation revealed that Foreman had attempted to fire at the officers but failed. The investigation concluded that Foreman not only violated traffic laws, but also intentionally threatened the lives of officers by using a firearm. This led the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office to decide to prosecute Foreman with multiple serious charges. On April 9, 2025, the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office officially announced the charges against Darrall Foreman. The charges included 2 counts of attempted murder related to Foreman pointing a gun and attempting to shoot at officers Michael Kinnison and Michael Schneider. 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer, based on his threatening behavior toward the officers with a handgun. Possession of a handgun and ammunition by a convicted felon Foreman was prohibited from possessing weapons due to his prior criminal record. Hit and run, related to the collision between the Chrysler and another vehicle when Foreman abandoned his car. Obstructing an investigation due to his actions of fleeing and failing to comply with police orders. The total bail for Foreman was set at $4.418 million, reflecting the severity of the charges. Foreman's initial court hearing was scheduled for April 9, 2025 at the Contra Costa County Superior Court, where he was expected to face the charges and enter a plea. The case sparked significant concern in the Concord community and surrounding areas. Local residents, particularly those living near Clayton Road, expressed worries about public safety after learning that an armed suspect had fled through their neighborhood. Some residents argued that the presence of individuals with criminal records from nearby cities like Richmond was increasing the risk of violence in Concord. Public opinions were divided. Some supported the police, believing the officers acted appropriately to protect themselves and the community. Others criticized the use of gunfire in a residential area, arguing it could have endangered innocent residents. These debates highlighted the polarized views on police use of force in the United States, especially in incidents involving armed suspects. The case concludes here for today. Thank you for following this case, and we hope you found it engaging. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest cases in the days to come.